There's been a lot of comment recently about drag queens. For some reason, the right wing, the crazies in this world, have got their knickers in a knot about something which probably has no real relevance to them or to their children at all, apart from just being a means of entertainment. This subject around drag queens telling stories to kids, I find extremely amusing, bewildering, and strange to say the least. It's not like this is the first time that we've ever had anybody in our community dress up as a woman. I often think of Dame Edna Everage, God rest her soul, I guess. God rest Barry Humphrey's soul for that matter. But I'm also concerned about the fact that there are many other replications of men dressing up. Mrs. Doubtfire. I didn't see anybody complaining about Robin Williams dressing up as a woman for that particular show. And Dustin Hoffman has done exactly the same many years ago. And then there are these strange people that we call priests who dress up also in gowns and outfits and who sit down and tell us all stories, children included, about some far away character some 2,000 years ago and beyond, and tells us stories which are generally myths, untruths perhaps, and no one seems to object to them either. So what is this really all about? Now, Sky News, to their credit, in their first edition, did talk about this in a reasonable and constructive way in terms of just reporting what has been happening. But what does concern me, I think, are the motivations for those people who have who have an issue with men generally dressing up as women and presenting a story. Now, no one in this audience that we see at Monash City Council dresses like these people dress. They're outlandish in terms of their attire. They are provocative in terms of the fact that they're men dressed as women. They are not under any circumstances grooming our kids. End of story. There is no evidence to suggest this. It is just a myth. It's stupid and it should be eradicated. And so why are these people objecting in the way that they are? Because they're afraid, for whatever reason, that their children are going to be indoctrinated into a set of beliefs that are different and separate to their own. I often wonder what it would be like for any of these people for their children to declare themselves to be gay or to suggest that they're not who they really want to be within their current physical form. I wonder what any of these people would do to combat those sorts of confronting sort of beliefs. What are they really afraid of? Are they afraid that they have beliefs and thoughts that they don't discuss with others, that are internal beliefs and thoughts they have about themselves and their own sexuality, which scares the shit out of them? So they project this in a way to people that are more freer in their thinking. And, they turn it into hate, to me, is the most disgusting thing an individual can do. To turn an activity which is just fun and enjoyable for kids and colourful and entertaining into something horrific, according to them, is just wrong at every level. And they're breeding hate and division within our society, which is unnecessary. There's enough of that go on. Politicians do enough of that without these people who are extreme in their views and imposing those extreme views on us and our children. I think is extremely wrong. So I'm going to play a segment from Sky News that talk about this, and Dan Andrews speaks in this section where he stands up for this drag festival or activity in a way which I think, whether you love him or hate him, is doing exactly the right thing. So this is what they had to say in this report.
Railed by protesters angry over a planned drag story time in Melbourne's southeast. Georgia Simpson has the story for us this morning. She's at Monash City Council. Georgia, what happened last night?
Pete, a crowd of about 100 people gatecrashed the public gallery, yelling out to councillors that they were pedophiles, demanding for them to be sacked. This is all over an event planned for May 19 at a library in Melbourne's southeast involving drag queen Sam Thompson reading books and singing.
Now, it does fascinate me here that the reporting is that they were calling these councillors pedophiles because they were allowing these drag storytelling sessions. Now, why would you do that? Why would you call other people as something as horrific as a pedophile just because they're allowing a drag activity? I find it offensive. I think that at every possible level it is wrong, and we need to call it out for what it is. And basically, it's just hate speech, which you're going to hear Andrew talk about in just a moment.
Well, a local council meeting has been derailed by protesters angry over a planned drag story time in Melbourne's southeast. Georgia Simpson has the story for us this morning. She's at Monash City Council. Georgia, what happened last night?
Pete, a crowd of about 100 people gatecrashed the public gallery, yelling out to councillors that they were pedophiles, demanding for them to be sacked. This is all over an event planned for May 19 at a library in Melbourne's southeast involving drag queen Sam Thompson reading books and singing songs to children to mark the International Day Against Homophobia. This event has sold out, but some residents are very angry about it. In recent days, there's been a lot of negative comments on Monash City Council's Facebook page, with Senator Ralph Babbitt among them. The council must have anticipated that something might happen, as last night there was extra security and police already on hand. This crowd of about 100 people, you might be able to see in the vision there, they were angry, they were holding up signs, they were yelling out that councillors were pedophiles, demanding for them to be sacked over what they say they were promoting sex among or in front of children.
And we know that that is absolute bullshit. So then there's this other video, which isn't very long, but it is about Rita from, she must be taken over from Andrew Bolt at the moment. Well, it's about time someone did. It's a shame that she was talking about this very issue, and it's in this video. They play Dan Andrews' response.
In Victoria, the city of Monash has decided to cancel their controversial drag queen story time event for children after parents hit back at the proposal. But Dan Andrews is not happy at all. He had this to say today.
Death threats against council officers and councillors. It is a disgrace. It is a disgrace. It's shameful. And my message to those people is very clearly, if you want to behave like the worst elements of the Floridian Republican Party, well, get to Florida. Head over there, where your hateful views might be worth something. They're worth nothing here. We won't stand for this sort of ugly behaviour. It's appalling. And I again make the point, it's not about free speech. This is hate speech, plain and simple.
James, oh God, the Premier doesn't lack chutzpah, you've got to say that. He's in typical Dan Andrews fashion, demonising any opposition to the left's culture war as bigoted.
And I just love that bit. Like, Dan Andrews is demonising the cultural war because of bigoted views around drag queens. Now, I need to say that because you're a drag queen doesn't mean that you're gay either, incidentally. They're just performers who dress in this manner and are good at it. tremendous performance in terms of they sing and reading stories and doing whatever it is, dancing, doing whatever it is that they do. This is who they are. But these jerks on the after the late night show on Andrew Bolt and others see Dan Andrews as standing up against the woke community. Because you have a view that's different to other people, does that mean that you're somehow woke? That's just bullshit. And I don't know where they come off thinking that their views are the only views and that any other views are seen as transcending or different to their own. I don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But this is what they think. This is who these cowards are. They are a group of people who want to develop and want to foster hate. This is what Sky News and this is what the Murdoch press does. This is who they are, and we need to call them out for what they are because they're dangerous to our society. They're going to find a way to try and rip us all apart so that we're at loggerheads with each other. And we need to be able to understand that this is their modus operandi. This is what they're trying to do. And they're using this instance about these drag story time activities in order to try and divide us. So we need to be conscious of all of this and we need to make a stand against it. We need to call it out for what it is. It is hate speech, it is homophobic, and it is wrong. And so we need to be able to say, look, whenever I see this, I object to it. Whenever there's a video played, we need to be able to respond to that and say, there is another perspective. You're not presenting this as it actually is. They distort their views around everything to make it appear that they are standing up for the general population, which they're not. They're a minority. But they tap into a group of people who, as is the case in the United States, were turned against the government and are now suffering as a result because all those people are being locked up for the insurrection on January the 6th. So the same thing, I'm afraid, is likely to happen here in Australia, and we need to be mindful of just that. So if you've got a comment about anything that I've said, please let me know. You can let me know here if you like, and you make a comment down below. And also, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to think that you could subscribe to my channel just to boost up my numbers as well. So look, let me know what you think. Take care of everybody. Look after yourselves. And more importantly, make sure that you're safe.